So, Dr. Ross, I think that people mostly think that multiple personality disorder is a pretty rare condition. But I've heard that Lady Gaga and even Britney Spears might actually have multiple personalities. What is your take on that, or what is your opinion on a statement like that?
Well, first of all, I've never met either of them. I haven't interviewed them, so I can't say. But it's actually very easy to find out why somebody would think they do. And that's, you just go to YouTube and you search, number one, Britney Spears alter ego or Lady Gaga alter ego. And up comes a couple of videos. So with Lady Gaga, it's fairly long. It's like at least 7 or 10 minutes. And she's being interviewed and there's cameras and lights going off. And it's Lady Gaga, except she's got a suit on. She's got her hair slicked back like a sort of 50s guy. And I forget the name. I think it's Joe Fortuna or something like that. But she's this character, Joe Fortuna, and she's talking away in this New Jersey voice. And she's from New Jersey, and Lady Gaga's his girl, and he really likes to look out for Lady Gaga. So with her, it's either completely just an act, one more publicity thing, or she actually does have multiple personality. There's only two possibilities. I don't know which one it is, but that's the information,
so
basically.
With her, she's actually coming out on film in the media and showing this
character,
personality.
Right. So again, just to repeat, obviously with her, it could be totally an act.
Right.
But maybe it's not. Right. With Britney Spears, so you just do the same thing. Go to YouTube, Britney Spears alter ego, and up comes an interview with Diane Sawyer where she's talking away. And there's a point in the interview where I can't remember exactly what word Diane Sawyer says, but she kind of repeats the word, and then there's a very distinct switch of state. And you can see her kind of covering for the fact that she's lost track, and she behaves very differently, and then it's gone again. That sure looks like a switch to an altered personality to me.
Right.
And apparently, this easily can be Googled as well. Kevin Federline and other people have said that they think she has multiple personality. And we know that she went to UCLA and, of course, got a diagnosis of bipolar, which I could probably tell you in advance because it's such an overused diagnosis these days. But you can also quite easily find video online of she's coming along in a car. She's leaning out the window. And she's got a pink wig on. And she's talking in a British accent, and she says that she has no idea who this guy is that the reporters have asked her about, who's her boyfriend that she'd been dating for like the last 6 weeks or something.
Huh.
And the paparazzi say they always know they're in for a show when she comes out with the pink wig on. But then shortly after that, she's interviewed. She's not wearing the pink wig. She's not talking in a British accent. And she says, well, yeah, that guy is my boyfriend. I know him.
Interesting.
So, again, as an expert on multiple personality, I can't say anything for sure, but that sure would put multiple personality in my mind if I was interviewing her and trying to figure out what sort of mental health problems she has.
Right. So, other potential examples of...
So the point here is not to talk about the science research on how common multiple personality is, but there's actually people who crop up in the media fairly regularly saying they have multiple personality or sounding like they do. Mm-hmm. And another was Mel Gibson. So I have an article from Der Spiegel magazine, I'm pretty sure it is, from Germany. And I've seen him talking on the Jay Leno show about it. So this is his version of what's going on with him. He says that ever since way back, he's had a character inside him, Bjorn, who's a Viking. And Bjorn comes out and acts wild and carouses and misbehaves. And so he's had to bury Bjorn in the sand inside his mind. But every once in a while, a hand comes up through the sand, and then he's got to push him back down again. And he's telling the story to the interviewer in the German magazine and also telling it to Jay Leno. And Jay Leno starts chuckling and says, oh, I think I met Bjorn back in your 20s. Mm-hmm. And then Mel Gibson says that sometimes he lets Bjorn participate in some of his acting roles, which would really make sense for Braveheart. So.
Yeah, that's the first thing that came to mind for me, for certainly.
So I mean, either he's just talking and it doesn't mean anything, or that's a pretty clear description of multiple personalities, that he's got this separate character who comes out and misbehaves and he pushes him back inside. And then if you watch the movie The Beaver, that's with Jodie Foster, where Jodie Foster and Mel Gibson are married, it's a movie exactly about that. That he's kind of depressed and he's not functioning very well as a character in a movie. He puts on this hand puppet of a beaver, and all of a sudden the beaver is talking to him. So it's a separate alter personality who kind of pumps him up and gets him back functioning again and becomes quite a success. And it becomes a whole kind of shtick that he does in public. But there's an intense conflict between him and the beaver.
Right.
And in the end, he cuts his arm off to get rid of the beaver.
Interesting.
So again, that doesn't prove anything. I can't say anything for sure.
Right.
But sure would make me consider the possibility.
Right.
And then when we go to these violent behaviors that he does that seems very out of character, and when he gets arrested or stopped by the police in the middle of the night, he's clearly drunk driving, and he's doing anti-Semitic ranting.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be half surprised if the alcohol takes the lid off, out comes
Right.
Bjorn,
Right.
and Bjorn is the one who's ranting. So I still would hold Mel Gibson legally responsible. He doesn't get off the hook.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to try and help him with that behavior, and if he does have this Bjorn character inside, you're not going to get anywhere until you've helped those two guys learn how to live together a little better.
Right. So thinking about what you have shared in some of our previous videos about multiple personality disorder, which is that oftentimes at the root of multiple personality disorders is some traumatic event or
Right.
some
Most
extreme.
often some kind of child abuse, neglect, trauma.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all of this information with us today. And, I would direct people to the other videos you've done talking about multiple personality disorder if they want more information. Are there any other resources or references you might recommend to people if they want to learn more about these topics?
Sure. And my main point here is multiple personality is not a rare thing. Any given celebrity might have it, your neighbor, a colleague. It's not a rare thing at all. And it can benefit a lot from treatment. And the main association that studies this is called the International Society for the Study of Trauma and Dissociation. And their website is ISST-D.org. That's a really good source of information.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
You're welcome.